10. Thai Cave Rescue. One evening in July 2018, 12 boys and their soccer coach went to explore Thailand's Tham Luang Nang Nong Cave and were blocked from exiting due to a flood. Sudden, heavy rainfall stranded the group in a tunnel where their oxygen dropped perilously low, prompting a massive rescue mission involving experts who traveled from around the world to help save the team. After delivering oxygen to the stranded group and placing tanks along the rescue route several weeks later, 38-year-old retired Navy diver Saman Kunan ran out of his own oxygen supply and died in the cave. A fellow diver tried to revive him, but it was too late. An estimated 10,000 people participated in the harrowing rescue. Thanks to their dedication and effort, the entire team and their coach reached safety after spending 18 days trapped. The rescuers administered drugs to knock the boys unconscious and maneuvered them out one by one through the cave's narrow tunnels, stopping along the way to re-administer the medications, which wore off partially into the 3-hour journey. Another rescue worker died in late 2019, a year and a half after the mission, from a blood infection he contracted during the operation. Navy diver Beiru Pagbara received treatment for the infection, but it spread to his bloodstream and he lost his battle against it, making him the second diver involved in the mission to lose his life. 9. Bob Dykes. After carving out a successful self-made career as a Colorado businessman, 70-year-old Bob Dykes fulfilled his childhood dream of owning a boat and bought a 54-foot vessel called the Sea Ray in 2021. He docked it near his second home in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. Dykes had only owned the boat for about a year when he was out on the water in April 2022, when he saw a nearby boat that was capsizing. Aboard the sinking ship were 9 young children and 3 adults. His longtime partner, Katia Hutton, later told local station WPBF that the scene was utter chaos and that there were children panicking amid 6-foot waves. Without a second thought, Dykes dove into the water and went over to help rescue the terrified group. He managed to get all 9 kids safely onto his boat, but was taken by the tide when he went to rescue the adults. According to Hutton, something went horribly wrong when Dykes tried getting back onto his boat, and she said that he ended up dying in his friend's arms. The Coast Guard is currently investigating the incident and has not yet named an official cause of death. Hutton described Dykes as a good-hearted and charitable man. Hutton said that Dykes had always wanted to open a shelter for domestic violence survivors, and that she plans to do so in his honor. 8. Private Emmanuel Mensa. In late December 2018, just before the new year, a massive fire broke out at an apartment complex in the Bronx. The fire started when a young boy was playing with a gas stove while unattended. The family fled their apartment without closing the door behind them, and the blaze quickly spread throughout the building. It was New York City's most catastrophic residential fire in decades. Private Emmanuel Mensa from the Army National Guard, who just returned from military training in Virginia, gave his life rescuing people from the burning complex. As the building became engulfed in flames, the 28-year-old entered at least 3 times after initially escaping the fire to help family members and other residents escape. Sadly, the final time he went into the smoldering building, he didn't come back out. Based on where firefighters found his body, they believe that he died looking for more people to rescue. Mensa was a first-generation immigrant to the United States from Ghana. His story came at a time when American culture was rife with xenophobic sentiments, including statements from the country's own president at the time, Donald Trump. The former president had apparently made some disparaging remarks about people who moved to the US from Africa. Mensa was posthumously awarded for his bravery and selflessness with the Soldier's Medal. According to the National Guard, it's the Army's highest honor for acts of heroism that occur outside of combat. His Staff Sergeant, Ruben Martinez Ortiz, remembered him as a man with a big heart who was eager to serve his country and community. 7. Thomas Kenning. 38-year-old schoolteacher Thomas Kenning was spending time with his daughter and parents along the Lake Michigan shore in Porter Beach, Indiana, when he saw a distressed teenager struggling in the water. He handed his hat and cell phone to his mother and sprang into action, hoping to save her. As Kenning rushed toward the water, his 9-year-old little girl yelled after him to be careful. His wife, Jasmine Kenning, later told Today that she received a call informing her that there had been an accident and that her husband was on his way to the hospital after paramedics performed CPR. An Indiana Department of Natural Resources spokesman told the talk show that Kenning had helped the stranded 16-year-old swimmer get to a place where she could get back to safety, but he was unable to help himself and drowned during the rescue. The representative further explained that the lake has several steep drop-offs and that waves rose between 3 and 5 feet that day. By the time Kenning was pulled to land, he'd been underwater for around 20 minutes. He was declared dead a little while later. The county coroner officially ruled his death an accidental drowning. Speaking with Today, Jasmine Kenning said that her husband wouldn't have wanted any sort of attention or fanfare for his good deed, stating, "He lived his life humbly, serving and thinking of others, wanting for nothing but to leave each place he went better than how he found it." 6. Friends till the end. In July of 2022, Edwin Rivas, Edwin Perez, and Danilo Sorozano were fishing along California's Sacramento-San Joaquin Delta when Rivas' 8-year-old grandson jumped into the water and quickly began drowning. The three men wasted no time in rushing after him, along with 2 others, in an effort to save the boy's life. The boy survived, along with 2 bystanders that jumped in to help, but sadly Rivas, Perez, and Solizano all died during their attempt to rescue him. Their friend Gerber Figueroa, who joined them for the fishing trip, later told ABC 7 News that the men are heroes who thought about nothing else but saving Rivas' grandson. He went on to say that the trio were lifelong friends from Guatemala who were involved in their community and devoted to keeping kids out of trouble. After losing his friends, Figueroa offered a strong caution to the public, urging parents to be careful and use life jackets if they bring their kids to the Delta, where the water often appears deceptively calm. Several major waterways converge there, often leading to strong currents that can easily and quickly pull someone under. Speaking with ABC reporter J.R. Stone, Figueroa said that the boy and the 2 rescuers who survived are struggling to sleep as they grapple with the emotional aftermath of the ordeal. 5. Naya Riviera. On July 8th of 2020, a 4-year-old boy named Josie was found alone in a rented boat at Lake Piru in Ventura County, California. He was identified as the son of 33-year-old actress and Glee star Naya Riviera, who was nowhere in sight. Josie told detectives that he and his mother were swimming when she told him to get back on the boat and helped him climb on. The little boy said that his mum was unable to get onto the boat herself and disappeared underwater while yelling for help. Riviera's body was recovered 5 days later. The Ventura County Sheriff's Office said that the actress and her son most likely got caught in a rip current, and that it appeared as though she used the energy she could spare getting Josie to safety before she drowned. There was no evidence of foul play or intoxication, indicating that Riviera's death was entirely accidental. And while she frequently visited the lake and was considered a strong swimmer, the tragedy serves as a grim reminder that anyone can perish under the immense forces of Mother Nature. 4. David Xiao. David Xiao, his wife Christy, and the couple's 18-month-old daughter were vacationing with his sister Christina and 2 other children outside Glacier National Park in Montana in July of 2022. What was supposed to be a fun family trip took a deadly turn. As the family walked through a tourist village, 37-year-old Derek Madden allegedly rammed his pickup truck straight at them and into a tree. He then began firing at them with a shotgun, killing David and his infant daughter. Both Christy and Christina were shot and critically injured, while the 2 other kids who were with the group managed to flee to safety unharmed. Once Madden ran out of ammunition, David's sister Christina killed him, although it's unclear how he died. Christina had reportedly dated Madden in the past, according to a Glacier County Sheriff's Office spokesperson, who further explained that he had a history of mental health issues. Amazingly, Christina and Christy both survived the attack. In a video statement, David's father John Xiao said that his son gave the ultimate sacrifice of love when he knowingly gave his life to save those he loved. Xiao urged those in mourning to grieve, but not to harbor anger over what happened. Another relative pointed out in a caring bridge post that it's a miracle that the women survived, and that the family has a lot to be grateful for, despite their devastation over their losses. 3. Cop killer. During the summer of 2022, police officer Anthony Mazurkowitz and his partner officer Shang were in an unmarked vehicle in Rochester, New York on a murder investigation detail when a shooter ambushed the car from behind and fired 16 rounds. Shang took a bullet to his lower body, but still managed to exit the vehicle and return fire. Mazurkowitz, on the other hand, was shot twice in his upper body and died later that night at a local hospital. Police found the suspect, 21-year-old Brockton, Massachusetts resident Kelvin Vickers, in a second-story crawl space about an hour later. It's unclear why Vickers was in Rochester, or if he knew that he was shooting at police officers. He now faces charges of attempted second-degree murder and second-degree murder. If convicted, they'll add to a lengthy rap sheet that stems back to when he was just 12 years old, when he was convicted of assault and battery on an officer. 2 months before the shooting, Vickers was supposedly released from a maximum security prison in Massachusetts after serving the maximum 3-year sentence for a gun charge. He nevertheless regained his freedom without any sort of parole or post-release supervision. On August 1st, 2022, thousands of people attended the funeral of the fallen officer in remembrance of his heroic actions and 29 years of service for the Rochester Police Department. Mazurkowitz's wife Lynn kissed his casket, which was draped with an American flag, and said goodbye to him for the last time. 2. Tate Meyer. On the afternoon of November 30th, 2021, a disturbed young man named Ethan Crumbley entered Oxford High School in Michigan and opened fire on the student body, shooting 4 people dead and injuring 7. Witnesses later recalled seeing the school's star running back, 16-year-old Tate Meyer, charge fearlessly towards the shooter in an effort to stop the gunfire and protect his friends. The teen's former football and wrestling coach, Ross Wingert, told the Detroit Free Press that while everyone was running away from the gunman, Meyer was going the other way. He said that knowing how fast a runner Tate was, he could have fled the scene if he wanted to, but that he'd selflessly chosen to put others before himself. The heroic young man was unfortunately found shot at the scene. A sheriff's deputy placed him in a squad car and began rushing toward the hospital, but Meyer died from his injuries along the way. Shortly after the shooting, Oakland County Sheriff Mike Bouchard said that there was no video evidence of anyone trying to disarm Crumbley. But those who knew Meyer said that it was in his character to put himself in harm's way to help others without even blinking an eye. 1. Shark vs. Surfer. A 59-year-old surfer at Tuncurry Beach in New South Wales, NSW, Australia, attempted to warn others of a nearly 15-foot-long, 4.5 meters great white shark in the water. He was on a surfing vacation with his friends and wanted to spare them from harm when the gargantuan great white clamped its jaws down on his leg. Paramedics pulled the man from the water and attempted to perform CPR at the scene, but their efforts were unsuccessful. He unfortunately died while they were making plans to airlift him to a hospital. Locals told the press that an infamous great white named Bruce was likely responsible for the attack. One person commented that he'd been lurking in the area for years and that he'd finally attacked someone now that he was big enough to do so. While many were quick to assume Bruce was the guilty party, 2 great whites were seen swimming in the area on the day the man was killed, and the area is a known breeding ground for the species. It's difficult to say with certainty which shark was behind the attack. The area's beaches were closed for the rest of the day as authorities searched for the offending creature. Some visitors reported an eerie feeling among the unusually quiet shoreline as they heard the occasional helicopter passing overhead during the investigation. Thanks for watching. Would you rather risk your life to pull someone from a burning car wreck, knowing that emergency responders might not get there on time, or fight a bank robber in an attempt to subdue them until authorities arrive?